Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Thank you, guys. Let's wait for a minute more for people to join in before we start this session. Today's session is on the order flow, which we have been taking from a couple of weeks, and we'll delve further into live examples of this week, what happened in Nifty futures and Bank Nifty futures. Just give me a minute more before we go ahead. You have the Nifty futures 3-minute order flow charts on screen right now. So coming to speak about order flow, as we have already mentioned in the previous sessions, we use four concepts which we have in order flow. IB, which is initiative buying, IS, initiative selling, RB, responsive buying, and RS, responsive selling. So it's a combination of these four concepts which we we are used to following in order flow charts and accordingly take trades. So to take a long trade, we look for an IB plus IB setup, initiative buying plus initiative buying. So what is initiative buying? What is an IB bar? IB bar is nothing but market orders which are coming in, and because the momentum is good and everyone wants to enter into the market as fast as possible. So these are market orders which are getting filled up. So we want to see a bar full of market orders as an IB. We don't want to see just one big green and then small numbers around the bar, but we need to see a full bar of market orders. So we know that this market is in a rush to move ahead, move higher. So when we are looking at taking trades, we look for initiative players. Either it is an IB plus IB on a 3-minute order flow, or it is an IS plus IS on a 3-minute order flow to take a sell side trade. So accordingly, we use a combination of 30 minutes and 3 minutes, even in the order flow, because we use market profile for to understand the structure of the market, and we get our references, important levels marked out through market profile. So which is why we follow the 30-minute order flow also, because it gives us the bigger time frame picture, and it gives us what bias you need to have for the day. So I'll give you one very good example of what happened today in Nifty futures and why the bias for today was not as bullish as it was yesterday. So I'll just quickly go to the 30-minute order flow chart. So I'll start from yesterday's chart. So right now on the left side, you have the 30-minute order flow chart of Nifty futures from yesterday, 4th of January, 9:15. So this is the A period, the first 30 minutes bar. And on the right side, you have the same order flow charts on the 3-minute bar. So what I'm showing you are examples taken from immediate markets of what setups we take using the order flow. So we can see that yesterday we had a higher open. We had a higher open. Nifty futures had made a high on 1st of January, and from then it was probing lower. We had forming value also on the downside on a daily basis, and on 3rd of January we closed in a spike where we made a low of 21,579. So that was a spike close, and we the spike rules were in play on the 4th of January at open. So what is the spike rule? Spike rules say that if we continue below the spike, we are bearish. But if we continue above the spike, we get above the spike, it's a bullish scenario. So when we opened higher, I'll just move the order flow chart so that you can see where the spike was. So this 610 to 579 was the spike zone in Nifty futures, and we opened well above the spike. So it was a bullish start yesterday for Nifty futures. So what we saw at the open was good greens. So we know structure wise market profile is telling us that we are trading above previous day's value and we are above the spike. So it is a bullish sentiment. And in the order flow, you can see the first 3 minutes, the POC is right at the lows. Seven. So you can see a lot of buyers here. On the supply side, you can see there are a lot of small numbers. The buy side is full of big numbers. And the POC remains right at the bottom, which is at 21643. And the next bar again is an IB. So this is what we call an IB plus IB setup. So yesterday, right at open, we had this good signal and the volumes were also good, 6,000 and 3,000 contacts. Generally, the opening bar do have good volume, but this was still better. So I'll compare these volume with the opening volumes of today and you will see the difference. So this was a very good signal which we got right at the open. And this was a very good buy signal also. So what is our entry in this? Once this IB plus IB is confirmed, we go long. We try to match our entry near the POC of this second IB bar, which is 21675. This is a place where you can re-enter long positions. If not, also we try to go one part at the close of this bar. Once this bar is closed, we know that this signal is confirmed. And our stop loss would be the low of the first IB bar, which is 21642 in yesterday's case. So this is how an IB plus IB setup works. And our targets on the upside would remain open as per the stop loss. The 1:1 objective would always be there. Plus we have some market profile references which go forward, which we will mark up as our profit booking objectives. So here, when once we got this IB plus IB, for how long is this signal valid? We have this rule of T plus 10. So rule of 10 bars. So whenever we are getting the signal, that signal is valid for the next 10 bars, including the one which is giving the signal. So once we got the signal at 9:18, the signal was valid because we are looking at the 3-minute order flow. The signal is valid for 30 minutes from here, 10 into 3, 30 minutes. So in that, we have that much of time for this trade to give us our objectives. And when does it get negated? Either the stop loss of this bar has to get hit, which is 21642, or we need to get an opposite signal, which is the IS in this case. If we get an IS, then that negates this IB and we come out of the trade. So I'll just see what happens after we got this IB, because this also is a very good IB. Once we get 1:1 objective from our entry, what we can do is we can trail the stop loss to this lows, which is 21666. And as I said, this POC is one level where you can look to re-enter long positions, because this has come off a very good IB plus IB signal. So just as we go forward, we have got this RS. This is a nice profit booking setup. This is where we can book 50% of what we had entered. So even if we are entering at this level, the close of this bar, which is a 21682, and our stop loss is 642, although it is not met the 1.1 1:1 objective, it is kind of pruned because we are coming off a trend down market. The market was probing lower, so the upside needs to give little more confidence for us to remain long. So this is, and as you can see, the lows of these bars are all near 21686. So please mark this levels, this POC of 21675 and 21666. If they come near and they are broken. So you can see this whenever we are coming near this. This is the days VWAP. The green line is the days VWAP, and this is being defended. We are getting this RB bar over here. So what happens next is we get another IB here. So this IB is giving you a fresh entry into the long position, and this comes in the B period. So this is telling you that the auction is got good demand and it has got this RB at VWAP and it is ready to proceed higher. So this IB signal becomes your fresh reference. So the low of this IB 21695 will become our trailing stop loss. So this is how we trail once we are into a trade. And at the same time, we also watch what is happening on the 30-minute time frame. Although the 30-minute time frame, the range had started to come down after the B period. The B period was a good move. It made a high of 730, which we are seeing here. And what we saw there was 1375 seller coming right at the top. So that was again a signal where you can part book your longs or trail your stop loss to a uh, closer position. So how do we trail the stop loss? So once the IB is over, first our reference was the A period POC and the VWAP. Next our reference would be the VWAP or the POC of the B period. Because the POC of B is right at the top, it is more of an RS rather than an IB. So we can take this VWAP uh, of B, which is a 21708, and you will find the highs of A period is also there, exactly there. So if we see a profile chart, we can see we have an extension handle which is been left by the buyers at that level, 21708. So 21708 becomes our stop loss for longs. So this is how we hold, and all through the day after this IB bar, the auction kind of became a slow auction. Even the volume started to drop. Till this time you can see we have got some good contracts on the even on the 3-minute time frame. See, this is one another classic RS signal where we have zeros on the buy side and the POC shifting up. So this is one more signal of booking profits. It's a level where you can book profits if you're in long. And one more thing point to note here is we don't trade all IBs and IS bars. In the sense, we don't trade IB and IS which come at random levels. For example, this IB. This IB is a very narrow range bar and it has got only 954 contracts. So similarly, if we would have gotten IS here, we would not have given it that much importance. So we need to have a clean uh, auction in place, and we need to have signals which are complementing the previous ones. So here we have our levels marked at 21708, which has come up from 21666 and 21642, which was there in the opening. So till the time 21708 is holding, we are looking to remain on the long side. And even on the 3-minute order flow, we will cut our long positions if we are getting an IS signal or if the uh, TSL is getting out. So you can see we came down, we made a low of 21730, which was also the IBH. The dashed yellow line is the IBH. So when we are watching the order flow charts, these references help us to see what the order flow is doing there, because IBH is an important level if you want to extend on the upside once the initial balance is over. So once we get buying over here, we know that the upside auction is still open and we can look for the 2 IB and 3 IB objectives. So when and seaside is something we don't give lot of importance to, in the sense we don't trust the moves which come in a seaside, although we trade them, but we are very quick to get in and get out, and we wait for D period onwards to show some good signal, then we trade in that direction when we are looking at the market profile aspect. So here you can see again we've got another IB, but this again is on a very narrow uh, volume. So this is not considered as a buy signal, but we are already in the long position because of the previous signals. I'm just running through quickly through yesterday's order flow so that I can tell you we did not get any IS after the open. And this is the first IS we got at 1133, and you can see the contracts which is just 452. So even if you are looking at the IS and feeling that uh, it may reverse or it may come down, we still have our reference of 21708 intact, and that is above our entry point. So till that is not broken, we can still look for this signal to get negated. And as you can see, the very next bar, this IS high is taken out. So this again was not a good quality signal. So we need to uh, uh, we need to figure out which of the order flow signals are good signals. We will get lot of initiative buy and red candles in the order flow chart, but we need, as I mentioned, market orders when they are coming and showing initiative buy or sell signal, they will be backed by volumes because everyone is in a hurry to get into the market, and we need a bar full of such market orders. It is not one point where just a one big green or a one big red comes in and we look to take a trade. So here you can see again, this is a very slow phase because even on the 30-minute chart, you can see we are in a very narrow range. So we nothing much was happening, but what it was doing was it was making higher highs on the 30-minute time frame. All the lows were higher than the previous lows, and the highs were getting higher. But certainly there was no more initiative buy signals which came on the 3-minute after that B period one. We got couple of them in the A period right at the open, and then in the B period we got one IB signal. So in spite of the 10 period rule being over, the case here is as the TSL is still not hit, either we remain or we book out and wait for a fresh IB on the 3-minute to take a fresh trade. So here you can see we have made new highs, but there is no numbers on the buy side. So there is no demand at all. So this is not giving much confidence if you are in a long position. So it is much better to book profits here and hold your capital for to take a fresh trade. And as the TSL still is at the lows of 21708, that will change only when we get a fresh IB, and that IB low becomes your TSL. So here again you see one IB plus one IS, and both are on 296 and 378 contracts. So these are signals which you don't need to give importance to, and you just need to make note that they are not breaking any important reference on the downside. So we just wait, we get into the afternoon, the H period and then the I period, and we are still looking at very low volumes. So volumes not being there is a sign that you need to stay away from that market because it can give you swipes. So here again, we made new highs for the day at 21785, but again, the volumes, although this volume was slightly higher at 1230 contracts, it was still a not a good IB signal. So we just wait, watch, and we look at this dip which is coming just before the KP rate. KP rate we give lot of importance in market profile, as we think after the initial balance, the other time frame players or the bigger institutions come back to trade in the close of the market. So which starts from the KP rate. So here you can see this. I was talking to you about the volumes which are on the lower side, and we saw this one high volume bar at 1230, and this 1399 is here. So we are probing on the downside, and here this bold white line is the POC of the day, the developing POC, and this green is the VWAP. So if you are biased on the long side, it is important for the auction to remain above the VWAP and the POC of that day. So that is telling you that the buyers are in control. And if the buyers are in control, they can make a push further up in the upside at any point of time. But for that, whenever you're getting a dip, you need to make sure that those buyers are defending that level. So here you can see we have got this 1497 bar, and it is stopped just short of that POC of 21742. And if I go to the 30 minutes order flow chart here, as I said, 21708 was our extension handle where the buyers had left, and we had a small zone of 20 points which was a singles zone from 21728 to 21708, because there was only B period which was there was no other TPO which came in that period. So 21728 also would be a good reference for you on the downside and could be our stop loss for remaining long for the day. We have pushed this higher from 21708 to 21728 because this we have seen multiple times that the buyers are being defending this level. So when this POC of the day is defended, this is telling you that yes, buyers are still in the game. So, but what you need a fresh IB bar, which is telling you that it can give you more on the upside. So we just patiently wait, and we can even mark this 21740 as a support zone. So we just patiently wait and look for some volume confirmation or an order flow signal which comes. Till the time it does not come, we just watch. So here again, we have tried to make new highs. We have almost tagged the day's high of 21785, but again, we are not seeing much on the demand side. We have two rows of zeros. So that is not giving you that confidence of going long. And this is again an RS bar. So see again the POC is shifting to the top. The volumes are slightly increasing now, so we can expect that there is some action, and because this is the fag end of the day, so at this point, and also telling also reminding that yesterday was an expiry, the weekly settlement, we could look for a expiry move which comes in the last 15 minutes. So generally the last 10 minutes is more of adjustment, and we don't look for trading of that time. But a couple of days are exceptions, when we have a spike which is in play. Second, which either a trend day or a neutral extreme day is in play, because a trend day and a neutral extreme has got the day structure, which means that it will close right at the extreme, right at the high or the low of that particular session. So here we can see even as late as 3:15, we are just trying to hit those highs, and this signal at 321, this is one good IB bar. So even though it is coming late in the day, our bias from the morning has been on the long side. We have seen that the POC has been defended and the references have been moving higher. So if we are long, this one single IB bar is also a good signal to take a trade, where your stop loss would be the low of this IB bar. Because you're playing for a spike, you will not have much risk on the downside, and you will look to play out into the close. So you can see how these IB bar, the market order started giving it just continued higher. And you can see the buy side had more number than the sell side on all these bars. We have zeros on the sell side, zeros here on the sell side, and we went on to make new highs into the close at 21810. So this is how we want to see how the order flow is giving us the signals, and then accordingly trade them. So this is about yesterday. So yesterday we closed at the highs, so we had spike rules in play. What I'll do now is I'll continue this to what happened today and see how today was different than what happened yesterday. Yesterday we got a good buy signal at the open, right in the 30-minute as well as the 3-minute. But today what happened, and what was the uh, play which we could have taken. So as you can see, the spike rules were in play, and we made a lookup above previous day spike. So I'll again shift the 30-minute chart also to 9:15, and we can see it made a lookup above previous highs in the morning opening 3 minutes. You can see we have gone on to touch the 21380, but see here on the top we have zeros. So there is no demand which is coming in. Again, you can see the numbers on the sell side are more than the buy side. Although the downside we have lot of zeros here, but it is not giving us that fresh demand, fresh IB signal above yesterday's previous day's high. So we wanted an IB about 21,810 for us to take a fresh long trade today, which did not happen. And you can see here the right at 921 we have got this IS. So although this is not a signal to go short, because IS plus IS is what we want to take a short trade, but it is taking us out of the long bias we had on the previous day. It is telling us that the auction is either the buyers who had come in previous session have booked out and they are not uh, coming back as of now. So we just need to wait and watch what it tells us. So this is, I'll just go take you through the first 30 minutes to tell what is happening. After this, we have got this IB bar, and which is fair enough, which is a good one, because 21770 was the spike low of yesterday, and we have taken support at that, and we have got an IB. But what do we need? We need one more IB. Why we need one more IB? Because the opening bars have shown us RS. So if we had opened around this 788 zone and then an IB would have come, we could have taken a fresh long trade based on what happened on the previous session, thinking that it is a continuation of that imbalance. But today what happened? We opened higher, we made a lookup, and we did not find any buyers. So there we have got two RS which have formed. So we need to take out those RS with an IB. Only then we will be comfortable looking for a long position. And as you can see, this 21,820 was the RS bar of that next bar after open. So this IB is looking good, but we wanted one more IB which would have taken us above this 21,820 for us to take a long trade. And if we would have got that IB, the stop loss of that setup would have been the low of this IB bar 21795. So, but what happened? We were not able to get above the 21820 at all. And I'll just slowly shift the 30-minute order flow chart for to the IB is over, and the B period was a narrow range. We remained in a narrow range. So it was very clear that the buyers have not shown up, because once you have a higher open, you need the buyers to. It is given the advantage to the buyers, so they need to take home the advantage, but they were not able to do that. And here we see right at the end of the B period, we have got another IS. So although this is on very low contracts, and as I mentioned, the volumes play an important role, we will not give this much of importance. And then, but it is very clear that 21820 level is not been is been held by the sellers, you can say, because we have not been able to take out the supply. So once we get into the C period, what happens on the 30 minutes? You can see, I'll just open up the 30 minutes. You can see we have formed an IS bar on the 30 minutes. And as I said, the 30-minute, uh, we don't trust the 30-minute, and we want more confirmation which comes in the next D or E TPO. So once we got that IS, already we had that reference of 21820 as the uh, level which buyers have to take out, and we got an IS right there. So that became our level to now look for short trades in the day, because the supply was acting and the downside was we were making lower lows. So it was the bias was on the downside as long as this 815 812 level held. So here you can see on the 3-minute order flow chart, we again came back to this zone. The IS high, it made a high of 21813, and then we made a high of 21815. So 81580 is exactly the high of the C period IS bar. So once the C period got over and this IS got confirmed, you can see how we broke lower. Although this the 1042 bar is not showing up as an IS bar, because the POC was at the lows and it was actually a very low volume break. And the reason for this was there were no volumes in the market. So which is why it swiped lower. It swiped lower, but this swipe lower should have gotten fresh demand, which it failed to get. It did not get fresh demand, and that is why it kept dropping into the DP rate. So although we have not got any signals on the uh, as the IS bars on the 3 minutes, but the open and the open signals had very well warned us that there is no long trade in the market today. So I'll just take you forward to what happened. We went on to make a low of 731, and this 731, I can refresh the memory. We were speaking about the previous session where the 21728 to 21708 was our support zone. So this was holding right above that, and we have zeros here. So this is kind of giving us some clue that there is some demand which is coming in at those levels. So what it did is it gave us a bounce to VWAP, and then again it got rejected at the IBL. So I was telling how this IBH and IBL references on the order flow chart helps us to remain in sync. So today when we have broken the IBL level, that will become a resistance for us. That will become a level where we want order flow to show us buyers. So what order flow did was to show sellers. You have a 510 seller, we have an RS bar, and then we have another RS bar right at the same level. So it is telling us the IBH is uh, holding, or the supply is coming at the IBH. And then we came on to make these new lows. So these two IS bars are also of very low volume. So these are not something which you can take a fresh trade out of, but I'm just giving you a run through so that we know, we understand what the auction is doing, and whenever there is a good high volume initiative signal which comes, we are ready to take that trade. So you can see here, right, the lows right here at the 21727.55. So from yesterday, we know that 21728 is the reference which the buyer will hold. So here, when we get this immediate IB bar, for if you are an aggressive trader, you can take a trade with a stop loss at the lows for a return to VWAP, because it is a zone where 30-minute had shown buyers previous session, and that is been reconfirmed by uh, this IB bar, which is negating this last bar here. So even if you don't take this trade and we wait for another IB signal to show up to be make sure that the longs are good, we just wait out and we don't get that second IB. So you can see here, right at the VWAP, we have got this big seller of 1247. This is the VWAP, the green line is the VWAP. So this is not, although on the 30 minutes, this high of the second IS bar 21782 has been broken, but we have not been able to get IBs on the 3-minute order flow. So another reference you can take here is the VWAP of this, which is a 21800. So this is one more reference which we can have as our uh, level for buyers to show up. So how will the buyers show up? Buyers will need to show good numbers on the right side, whereas here we are only getting numbers on the left side. 1247 RS. Here we have got zeros on the top buy side. So this is not a confidence boosting chart for a buyer, for a person who wants to go long. But here we have not got a sell trade all as well, because we have made lows and we are bouncing off the lows. We are just testing the VWAP. So if as an aggressive trader we have taken that long trade on that single IB signal, we will book profits at the VWAP unless we find an IB signal at VWAP. If we would have found another IB coming at VWAP, then we would have held on to one part, or we would have looked to take a fresh uh, long trade. So here, that is why it is important to look at IB plus IB on a 3-minute order flow chart, and preferably those two signals have need to be close to each other within maybe a 30-minute time frame. So that gives you more boost that the market is wanting to move quickly in one direction. So you can see we have not got any further signals here, and the buyers remained on the upside because the VWAP has not been able to be sustained by the uh, buyers. So that low is still showing an RB of 217.728, but we have not able to get any demand over VWAP, and this IS signal is still holding. So our morning uh, play of till the time 21820 is not taken out, we cannot look for long positions, still holds. So here again we are into that low volume grind, and this is one bar which is made. This is an IS bar which has come on 1000 contracts, and it's telling you that the demand is still not coming in here. Here, although you can see there the zeros are on supply side, so it is just telling you there is no the supply may be getting exhausted, but this is not a case. This is not a market where you can risk going long, because we have not seen any IBs come after that one which came at lows, and after that we have got some big sellers which have come at VWAP. So until we take out this 21800 and 21820, there is no point in looking for uh, buy side trades. So this again, this which came at 209, you can see this IS signal is a good one on good volumes, and this can be taken as one which you can look to hold. And this has got a very small risk if you want to take the risk, because we are taking a trade only of a single IS. Our stop loss would be the POC of the previous bar, which is 21735, and this is a good volume. 2600 contracts is good on a 3-minute, and the POC is right in the middle. So here, and because we knew that the bias was on the downside and the K period can give us good move lower, this is a trade which you can look to take. So I'll just get the 30 minutes of the entire day. And so this is the K period, and tell what happened. So stop loss is 735, and then we probe lower. We have made these new lows, and when we are looking for trade extension, range extension, we look for the 2IB mark. 2IB mark came at 21717, and the 3IB came at 21659. So those would become our profit objectives. But here you can see what happened here was we made a low of 21680, and this 21688 yellow bar which is protruding from before is the level where buyers had turned up on the previous day. So that was holding. So here what we see here is the gradually the supply side is coming down, and we are beginning to get greens because the POC is shifting to the lows. So this is the first sign that you need to book out if you are short. The POC shifting to the lows is telling you that responsive buying is coming in. So what happened then was we formed a narrow balance, and then all this supply was taken out. So you can see this is a bounce which is coming back in Nifty futures. This is today's, and these are very good high volume bars which are swiping all the shorts which are there in the day. So where does this go? It went on to make a high of 21795, and then we went on to tag the 21815, and where did it stop? We stopped right at the 21820 level. So this was telling you that whatever happened, whatever swipe came, it was only because the laggard shorts were taken out. And in this rise, the sellers again used it as an opportunity to come back, because you can see reds over here, you can see zeros on the buy side. So this is not, and we have been in the previous day's range. 21820, the morning reference was not taken out. If this would have been taken out, then we could have expected a neutral extreme close today, and we could have looked at new highs. So immediately when this is stalling, you know that you cannot remain long if you are taking a contra trade from the rise of the K period. So what happened then was it retraced, and it went on to make a low of 21768, which was the VWAP, and we closed right in the middle of the day. So this is what happened in Nifty futures today. And the reason I ran through the 3-minute order flow chart of today was we didn't get as clean signals as we got yesterday. So we never got an IS plus IS or an IB plus IB today. But the 30-minute order flow made us aware, and the opening signals made us aware that we cannot have a long bias like the one we had yesterday. So I'll quickly move on to the order flow chart of Bank Nifty and just run through what happened at the close today. So today we had a VPOC from 3rd of Jan, which was at 47964. And on the 30 minutes, you can see this line 47964. I'll just quickly bring that reference. So you can see this is as good as an IB bar because we have got some good greens. We have got some good greens and a 1412 green and an 836 green clubbed together here. So although we did get uh, further IB signals after this, and we had a good long position. As you can see, this is a 30-minute IB bar. So the 30-minute IB bar low of 48176 would be our reference to remain long unless we got a new IB bar. So what happened today was similar to the auction in Nifty. We opened above the spike of yesterday, but we did not get any fresh demand. This 48624 was a VWAP of the 1st of January, I think, where the sellers had come over, started coming over. So it was an important reference, and when we are getting zeros on the buy side there, it is clearly negating any bullish bias we have. So after that, Bank Nifty was only a sell side uh, play today because it was making lower lows on all 30-minute bars, and it was negating the important references which it had left yesterday. So I had just given you that example of 48177 being the IB bar low, which got broken in this period of hedge. So that low breaking was in another signal that there is more downside to come because those buyers are not defending that. So what happened is we made new lows and we went on to hit 47982. So in doing that, the 3-minute order flow chart is here in on the right side. This is of the K period from today, and we can see how we have got overlapping POC and how this uh, when it closed, it was looking more like an IS bar which can give more downside. It turned out to be an RB because the POC is stalling here and we are getting 697 greens here, and this is right at one important reference both in order flow as well as market profile. So this is the sign that Bank Nifty, the downside is got over, but for an upside we need a good IB. So this that came in this bar. So once it went back above this high, the VWAP of the 1345 bar, it was a very clean signal to go long, and it just swiped through, and you can see these are all aggressive auction which is happening, and we just in the 15 minutes from a low of 48160 we went on to make a high of 48530, I think 538. So here again, what did the order flow tell us? Right at the open, just like what we had formed in Nifty, we have this RSPOC at 48456. So same thing happened here in Bank Nifty. We got stalled right at that level and we were unable to cross that. If we would, and we gave a good retracement down to 465 into the close. So it was very clear that the demand has to come in at the morning RS level for us to have another close like previous day, which was a spike higher into the close. So that is a quick review of these charts. One more example I would want to give is how we could trade what we see on the futures in the options. So this is 21,600 call option of 11th of Jan, and this is yesterday's chart. So as we had seen, although we are looking at futures, we do trade in the options. So in the options, we can have a similar kind of a setup. We can see what the 30-minute and the 3-minute time frame uh, levels are, and accordingly take trades. Because the IB and IS bars may be the same and may differ as per the futures, but you can definitely take these levels and hold on to long trades. So for example, when in the Nifty futures, the second 3-minute bar was a buy. So similarly in this, if you would have taken a buy position in the 21,600 call yesterday, your stop loss would have been the lows of this bar or the zeros over here. In order flow, we have these uh, awesome feature where we can see where you have zeros, where there are no volumes, and that you can take it as a support zone. So this 134, 130 level could have been taken as a support, and you could have had this long position trade in the option. So option also, it's a similar uh, process where we look for a fresh IEB signal to come up to take a long trade and trail our existing positions. So this is, I'm just running through very quickly the 3-minute order flow chart of the, so this IS plus IS, when it is coming, this is a very clear signal of booking out your longs because it's ran a big way up, and this IS plus IS is telling you you can book out your positions. Although this is not a signal to go short, but these signals are where you will book out. In futures, when you're getting this IS plus IS on good volumes, you will look for a taking a short trade, and you will look for a put order flow chart showing you that buying signal. So we need to be sure of where we have to use what signals. IS plus IS on a futures is a short trade, but IS plus IS on an option call option is a booking signal. And if you are an option seller, you will have to use the 30-minute references and then look for this IS plus IS to enter short trade, because we don't have an IS. We've got an IS here. So unless you have, because 30 minutes will overseed the 3 minutes. So we get our bias from the 30-minute signals and look for 3 minutes to give us confirmation in that part. So this is how we can trade the option segment also. And we look for same IB plus IB signals and then accordingly take trades. So coming back to the process we have. So we need to make sure first we have done our homework and we know what are the levels we want to watch when the market opens. After the market opens, then we look at the 30-minute and the 3-minute and look for IB plus IB for a long position. Stop loss would be the lows of the first IB, and the objectives would be according to the that day's range, as well as the risk which we have taken on the trade. So that is it from my side for today, guys. If you have any queries, do feel free to post them in the chat before we can wind up, because I don't want to keep you guys holding on a Friday evening. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them before we can wind up. And we have a live trading room, live mentoring room, where all of us sit together in a virtual room and trade. We see these charts which we are seeing on the screen, and we keep discussing what the setups are, and accordingly we take trades. So we do have that already in place. If you anyone of you is interested, you can definitely join in our VMR room, and you have access to all these awesome order flow as well as the option suite, which you can make most use of depending on what time frame trader you are. IB is initiative buying. Initiative buying happens when you are getting aggressive buyers who are coming in, initiative players who are coming in, and in terms of candle, it is mostly an open low start and it closes at the highs. And POC of that bar, POC is the point of control, the level where it has the highest volumes, comes in the middle or the lower segment of the bar. So that is what an IB is. You can log on to our website vtrender.com, Kalpesh. There we have our links, and you have a section on VMR. You can go through the features and you can look in for what subscription you want to go for. So we have an extensive training library of 15 videos. Once you join the VMR, you have access to those videos, which has all the explanation about the market profile setups which we use, along with the order flow concepts, the IB, the IS, how they are formed, why they are formed, what are the conditions for each setup to remain. All those things are explained so that when you are in live markets, you know what we are trading off. So any more queries you have, you want to get in touch with us, you can mail us at support@vtrender.com, or you can even DM me on Twitter. My Twitter ID is @Uttam Goel. I'll be happy to get back to you. And we have lot of reading articles on the website as well, in the forum section. In the must read articles, you can go through them. And we also have a YouTube channel, which most of you would be aware, where we have lot of such learning videos. Yes, Shekhar, that is the reason I was telling we need to identify good quality IB and IS. Not all IB and IS which get printed are will be a good bar. Volume will be one criteria, and definitely we will need to wait for that bar to get complete. Before the bar is complete, the IB may be getting printed, but at the close of the bar, a shift in the POC may cause the IB to not show up. So it is very important to wait for the close of the bar. Any more question, guys? Fine then, I guess that is it from our side for now. Thank you all for joining in. We plan to have such sessions on order flow regularly on Tuesdays and Fridays. So do join back in, and we will keep you posted about it on Twitter. And you can definitely join and learn. We are happy to share what we know, and we will be happy to help other people also take advantage of this. 10 bar concept is from where the signal is valid. If you are getting an initiative buying signal, that signal is valid for t plus 10. Whatever time frame you are looking at, that bar plus 10 of that bars. So if you're looking at a 3-minute order flow, the signal you get on a 3-minute order flow is valid for 30 minutes. If you're looking at a 5-minute order flow, the signal is valid for 50 minutes. And if you're looking at a 30-minute order flow, the signal is valid for 300 minutes, which is for a day. So once again, thank you guys. Thank you for joining in. So any more queries, you please feel to mail us or reach us on Twitter, and we'll be happy to help you out. Thank you and have a nice weekend, everyone.